In this assignment, we're going to make some stylized waves using a couple features and paths in After Effects. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and create a new composition. Call this waves. 1920 by 1080, 30 frames a second. Duration is 100 is fine. We'll hit OK. Let's go to Layer, New, Solid. We'll call this Background. Go to Layer, Layer Styles, Gradient Overlay. And I'll change the gradient overlay to be kind of a sandy brown. So select the first color. I'm going to go over here. And then this is going to be a little bit lighter. And hit OK. Next thing, I'm going to make my text. Click in the center here. Just say waves. I'm going to go ahead and scale that text up. Move it down a little bit. And then go Layer, Layer Styles, Drop Shadow. Just give it a little bit of dimension. Open up our drop shadow, change the angle to 90, change the size to 15, change the distance to 20, and then we'll change the opacity to be a little bit softer. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a shape. So let's go ahead and go up to our path tool. I'm going to change the stroke to be hidden. And I'm going to change the fill to be a light blue and hit OK. Now I'm going to build this shape outside of the dimensions of my composition. So I wanted to build it a little bit larger than the window that's being previewed. So click on the left side a little bit further out. And then I'm going to continue it down. I'm holding down the Shift key. And as I do that, you see it creates a shape. Doesn't need to be perfect, but you can always move the points a little bit after you're done. Okay, and let's change this to be just a little bit darker. I want that to be a little bit more. There we go. Okay, with this, we'll rename this to be waves. And I'm going to go to Layer, Layer Styles, Inner Glow. We're going to change the color of our inner glow to be white. Hit OK. We're going to change the size to be a little bit larger. Let's just say 100. Okay, once we've got this, we're going to apply a couple animators to it. If you go to Add, you're going to go to Wiggle Paths. It's hard to see, but if you change the size, you'll see it more. By default, it makes a sort of a straight line path. Let's change that here. You can change it to smooth and not corner. You can change how detailed the waves are here in the detail level. We'll just go ahead and change it to 15 or 20. And then you can change the speed here in wiggles per second. We're just going to go ahead and leave it at 2. So the first thing I want to do is I want to animate my actual object, the waves object. Let's start with it off screen. So we'll bring it down here. We'll open up position. We're going to right click on positions and say separate dimensions. Then click on Y position and key it. At frame 15, I'm going to bring my wave up. I'm not going to bring it all the way up to the bottom of the waves text because I want to do that here at frame 45. And then here at frame 60, I'm going to bring it down off the screen again. And then at frame 70, I'm going to bring it all the way off the screen or far down below the screen. So you can see that by default, the motion is very linear. Let's open up our graph editor. You'll see why. The keys here are set to linear. So if you select all of these, change them to auto, you'll see it gives you handles now. So let's go ahead and make this the wave kind of hang there for a little bit. We can do that by expanding our handles here and also make the motion at the beginning of the wave up a little bit more linear. Okay, so let's see what that does. So this is looking a little bit nicer. This looks more like a natural wave motion. Okay, let's zoom out, close our graph editor, and bracket in our preview. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to add a repeater. So here under contents, I can go to add, and I can say repeater. By default, it's going to translate in the X. We don't want that. Let's go ahead and change our position under the transform repeater 1 to be 0. I'm going to change the number of copies to be 5. And I don't want these copies to start showing until the wave starts to pull away here. So when the wave gets to the crest or as far up as it goes at frame 40, I'm just going to click on offset. I'm going to click on position. And now I'm going to go to the point where the wave is off screen. I'm going to change the position on our transform repeater 1. Let's change that to be about -100. Now you won't see anything. It'll look like it's moving this object back up. That's because all of the waves that are over the top of one another have the same opacity. So let's change the end opacity to be 0, and you'll start to see the layering that you're getting on that. Now, if you want this to look a little bit smoother, you can change the number of copies. You can change this to be like 20, but you have to change the position offset to be a lot smaller. So if you say -5 or -10, you can see that those start to look softer. Let's go ahead and delete that. We'll go here and we'll just change the copies back to 5. We're going for more of a stylized look. So what you want is you want to see these start to pull away as your object is moving back. So let's select our position offset and let's make that an auto tangent. Unlike our actual transform or positions on an object, you can't separate dimensions, but you can add additional keyframes if you need to. So as my object starts to pull away, we can change this position to look a little bit more lingering. And then as we get down to the end, we'll go to frame 70 and we're going to collapse this position back to 0. That makes it so that just in case we don't see any more of those waves stay on the screen. Let's also select these keys. We'll set those to auto. The last thing we want to do is we want to animate our text here to come in. So let's go over to our effects and presets and type slide down. You'll see slide down by character. We'll drag that out onto our waves. Let's open up our slide down by character, click on U, and then we'll have that happen over about 25 frames. So you'll see now that the waves text will appear, and then our waves will draw away. This is going to be the completion of the assignment. Go ahead and export that movie, and you're all set.